Menoscalp. That name sticks with you, right? It's not some official diagnosis, but it nails a real thing. The way your hair and scalp start changing thanks to all the hormonal chaos of perimenopause and menopause. If you're over 40 and seeing changes, you are not imagining it. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Renee, a double board certified OBGYN and functional medicine doc. I help women over 40 figure out what's going on with their hormones. All right, so let's dive into what's actually happening with your hair and your scalp. Maybe you're glancing at old pictures and noticing more scalp peeking through, or you could be like me, feel like your ponytail is way skinnier than it used to be. And the hair in the shower, seriously, where does it all come from? Some people call this Menoscalp. Actually, there's a doctor online who's got a hair product, and he was the first person I ever hear call this condition Menoscalp, and it stuck. So here we are talking about it. Again, Menoscalp's not a doctor's term, but I feel like it's a word that describes a pattern a ton of women notice as they get older. So what do I mean when I say Menoscalp? Well, it's a bundle of changes that hit your scalp and your hair as your hormones shift. Think of it like menopause belly, but for your head. You might notice your ponytail shrinking like I did, your part looking wider like I did, a dry or itchy scalp, and hair that just feels rougher or harder to manage like me. I guess there's a reason I'm doing this video, because this is me. So when you hear Menoscalp, don't think new disease. Think menopause or perimenopause messing with your hair's biology. It's a specific way hair ages in your 40s and 50s. So why does this happen? It mostly comes down to hormones. Your hair follicles are actually pretty sensitive to hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and androgens like testosterone. Estradiol, a strong form of estrogen, usually keeps your hair in that nice long growth phase. It helps each strand grow thicker and hang around longer before it falls out. But then during perimenopause and then menopause, estrogen and progesterone drop off a cliff. When that happens, your hair's growth phase gets shorter. More hairs jump ship into the resting and shedding phases. And when they grow back, they're often finer and not as dense. Suddenly, your hair routine hasn't changed, but your ponytail is half the size and the drain is full every time you shower. There's another layer. Androgens, like testosterone. These hormones also drop as you age, but not as fast as estrogen and progesterone. That leaves you with a sort of relative androgen dominance at the hair follicle. If your genes make you sensitive, your body converts more testosterone into DHT, which is also known as dihydrotestosterone, right at the scalp. DHT can shrink hair follicles over time, especially around your part and the crown of your head. So you might not see classic male pattern baldness, but you will notice that your part is getting wider. The top of your head is looking thinner compared to the sides. Actually, my sides are thinning right here as well. Or your hair is looking almost see-through when the light hits just right. Now that's classic female pattern thinning, and it usually ramps up as you move through menopause. Let's now talk about thyroid and metabolism. During perimenopause, it's pretty common for things like subclinical hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, or just a slowing metabolism to sneak up on you. Happened to me too. Even if your thyroid is just a little off, maybe on the borderline, that can mess with your hair cycle. When your thyroid isn't working right, your body tends to push more hair into the telogen phase, which is also known as the resting phase. It slows down regrowth of new hair, and it changes your hair's texture so it feels drier, rougher, maybe even a bit straw-like. Happened to me too. So if your lab results keep coming back normal, but you feel wiped out, cold, constipated, and your hair is still thinning, do not brush off your thyroid. It's worth a closer look. Sometimes the numbers don't tell the whole story. Next up, let's touch on nutrients and inflammation. Once you hit 40, you're at a higher risk for running low on things like ferritin, iron, vitamin D, zinc, B12, and other B vitamins, and essential fatty acids. You cannot expect to grow strong hair if you're missing the basics. Just the low ferritin alone can keep the shedding going and stall new hair growth, even if your hemoglobin looks fine. Now throw in chronic low-grade inflammation, gut problems, or restrictive dieting, and your hair follicles are basically missing out on what they need to make thick, healthy strands. All right, now for the big one, stress. Your 40s and 50s are prime time for juggling everything: work, kids, aging parents, lousy sleep, and a lot of emotional weight. When cortisol goes haywire, it can kick off telogen effluvium, which is just a fancy way of saying stress makes your hair literally fall out. Usually the big hair shed doesn't happen right away. It will show up 2 or 3 months after something major: surgery, illness, losing someone, big life changes, or even crash dieting. And it's not just about stress. Ongoing stress messes with your thyroid, your blood sugar, and how well you absorb nutrients. All of that circles right back to your hair follicles. Look, your scalp ages right along with the rest of you. As estrogen drops and your skin gets older, you'll probably notice your scalp changing too. It dries out. It gets touchier with products, so things that never bothered you suddenly sting or itch. Sometimes a little inflammation pops up around hair follicles. Nothing dramatic, just enough to be annoying. Blood flow isn't what it used to be either, so your follicles don't get as much of the good stuff. This shows up as flakiness, itching, and hair that feels thin, breakable, and not quite like your old hair. So that menopause hair that people talk about, frizzy, wiry, weirdly flat, yeah, that's what we're talking about. So what actually helps? We got to think layers, not magic bullets here. Start with the basics. Check what's going on underneath the hood, right? Don't guess. Get some answers. If you're over 40 and your hair's thinning or changing really fast, dig a little deeper. Get a real workup. And that usually covers things like a full thyroid panel, not just a TSH. Iron, ferritin levels, vitamin D, B12, zinc, maybe copper, blood sugar, insulin, and cortisol, and of course, sex hormones. This tells you if hormones, nutrients, thyroid, stress, or honestly, some mix of all of them are behind the changes that you're experiencing. So when it comes to hormones, you're going to want to support where it counts. You've got options. You can do menopausal hormone therapy, and done thoughtfully is a great way to balance estrogen and progesterone. You're going to want to tackle insulin resistance, since high insulin just amps up androgens like testosterone and makes hair loss worse. You can consider dermatologist prescribed topical anti-androgens, especially if you're seeing classic female pattern thinning. There are also some supplements that can actually work very similar to some of these products. And just a little note about hormone therapy, it always needs to fit the individual. But a lot of women see hair shedding slow down and their hair bounce back at least a little bit when their hormones are in a better place. And you, of course, need to take care of your scalp and your hair follicles right where it matters. So let's talk about what you can do for your scalp. Number one, there are medical topicals like minoxidil or special blends that your dermatologist or your hair specialist might suggest. And I actually have some access to compounded hair products that I use with my clients. Scalp care. Be gentle when you exfoliate, steer clear of harsh shampoos, and use scalp serums that support your skin barrier without causing irritation. You can consider in-office treatments like microneedling, PRP, PRF, low-level laser therapy, and other hair-boosting procedures, depending on what your clinician offers. The aim here is to make the environment around your follicles healthier, boost blood flow, and get those growth signals firing where you need them most. And don't forget nutrition and lifestyle. You're going to want to look at the basics. Fix any low ferritin, iron, vitamin D, zinc, or B vitamins. When it comes to your nutrition, get enough protein and healthy fats. Your hair and hormones need those building blocks. Of course, we talk about stress a lot. Manage your stress. Actually sleep. Sleep will keep your cortisol in check and helps your hair cycle properly. Please skip crash diets. Losing weight too fast is a classic way to trigger telogen effluvium, which is that big hair shed that nobody wants. Simple stuff, but honestly, you can't skip these basics if you're serious about keeping your hair healthy. And then, of course, be real about what to expect. Here's the truth. Hair growth takes its sweet time. If a follicle has already shrunk or you've had a big shed, you're looking at months, not weeks, before you see any real change. Give any new routine at least 3 to 6 months before you decide if it's working. And the first goal is to slow the shedding. Over time, you're going to notice changes in density and texture. And if you're early in the menopause transition, don't wait. Starting sooner means you can save more follicles before things get too advanced. So what's the bottom line here? Menoscalp isn't some scary disease. It's just a catchy way to describe all the hormonal, metabolic, and inflammatory shifts that start showing up on your scalp. So if you're 40 and you're seeing more shedding, a wider part, or more scalp peeking through, don't just grab a new shampoo. Your body's telling you it's time to dig deeper. And if you want a video where I actually talk you through which labs I check, what numbers I look for when it comes to menopausal hair loss, or even what I've been doing over the last 6 weeks or so, drop a comment below and perhaps I'll drop another video going into more detail on all of those, including what I'm doing. And of course, if you're dealing with any hormonal issues, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And listen, if you're tired of getting the runaround from your doc and you want real answers and solutions, book a call with me to see if working together is a good fit. The link to book that call will be in the description below. And with that, we're going to see you right back here next week. Ciao.